Creating impactful characters can be difficult. In order to create a likable character, an author must weigh in personality, ability, and relatability without turning said character into a Mary Sue. However, sometimes things can go wrong. An author can confuse obnoxiousness into relatability, or strength into invincibility, thus accidentally creating an unlikable character. But what if an author intentionally tries to create an unlikable character? What if an author decides to create a protagonist that people would definitely hate? What can an author do in order to make said character still entertaining and marketable? Today we will be tackling a story from comic book authors Bill Willingham and Leela Sturgis, where they created probably the most hated and despicable character in comic book history, a graphic novel series entitled Jack of Fables. Jack of Fables is a spin-off title of the comic book series Fables, a series from Vertigo Comics that tells the story of fairy tale characters such as the Big Bad Wolf, Snow White, and Prince Charming, being driven away by a mysterious adversary from their world and being transported into the real world. One of these fairy tale characters is Jack Horner, known from fairy tales, folklore, and nursery rhymes, who feature a protagonist named Jack, such as Jack Horner, Jack and Jill, Jack and the Beanstalk, Jack the Giant Slayer, Jack-o'-lantern, and Jack Frost. Jack Horner is essentially a bastard. He is a trickster and a con man who greedily manipulates people. He is cruel, selfish, narcissistic, and even downright sociopathic, having little to no disregard about the people around him. At various points in the story, he even has no qualms about murder and mass murder. Essentially, this guy is an evil asshole. So how did Willingham and Sturgis make him an appealing protagonist of a comic book? There are two ways to make a vile character into an entertaining protagonist. The first is making that character a badass, one who is an asshole but defeats more powerful enemies using their skills, such as John Constantine and Light Yagami. The second way is to make a vile character into a funny one who can make people laugh, especially if said character gets their comeuppance, like Invader Zim. Both Willingham and Sturgis succeed in putting these elements into Jack Horner. Jack Horner may be a selfish con man, but he entertains his readers by failing miserably, especially in his attempts to get rich or get laid. However, when up against individuals who are stronger and more evil than him, including enemies who are basically gods, Jack Horner entertains his readers by creating elaborate plans which succeed in defeating them. The authors also did well to make him more likable by giving him friends and allies, and the opportunity to do good to them. They created a perfect balance between the positive and negative traits of Jack Horner. That being said, Jack of Fables doesn't always succeed in these. Jack Horner's arrogance and obnoxiousness can be too much for some people. The authors sometimes focus too much on slapstick than character development, even foregoing plans to make Jack Horner more compassionate and ramping up his horrible characteristics. Then, there are the times when they went too much with the character. At one point, he literally manipulates his depressed ex-girlfriend into having sex with him, basically amounting to rape. Willingham and Sturgis probably thought it would be funny, but they went too far. Still, in the end, Jack of Fables was a huge hit. It lasted 50 issues, gained positive reception from the industry, garnered awards, and even became a cult hit amongst comic readers.
1801, the revolution had been won, and Uncle Sam's favorite son had a job he needed done,
which brought Jack to a lady.
When it comes to making a hated character into a lovable one, nothing can compare to Jack of Fables.